Vlad turned to the side, admiring his image in the mirror with a smirk. Henry was going to lose it when he saw Vlad's costume. They hadn't discussed what they were dressing up as, but the pathetic black nylon cape and plastic fangs that Vlad had picked up at the Stop and Shop last weekend were sure to be the running gag of the evening between them. He brushed his black hair from his eyes and slipped the plastic teeth into his mouth. They fit perfectly over his own fangs, which were protruding slightly, despite his large dinner. Not an hour before, Aunt Nellie had warmed 2 sizable steaks until the blood dripped from the raw meat. He'd restrained himself from picking up the steaks with his bare hands and ripping into them, but only because Aunt Nellie insisted on manners. So, even though it agonized him to do so, he took his time cutting the steaks into medium-sized bites and sucking the juices into his hungry mouth before dropping the dry, tasteless meat onto his plate. He pulled the fake teeth out of his mouth and examined the sharp points of his fangs. "Aunt Nellie, you better get a snack pack ready." "But you just ate," came a lilting voice from the bottom of the stairs. "Oh, well, better safe than sorry, I suppose. What time will Henry be here?" "Any minute." Satisfied with his costume, Vlad turned from the mirror. The old floorboards creaked beneath his sneakers. He kissed his fingers and pressed them to the frame on his dresser. In the photo, his mother was poised on the edge of an old Victorian chaise, with his father standing behind her, his pale hands on her shoulders. They were smiling at the camera, and Vlad found himself smiling back at them. He opened the top drawer and stuffed $10 from his secret box into his pocket. Partying with Henry had taught him one thing above all else: be prepared. Vlad left his bedroom and made his way down the stairs. Aunt Nellie stood at the bottom, holding up a plastic container covered with saran wrap. He could see the deep, red, slushy contents through the wrap, and licked his lips. "Did you microwave it? It's better warm." "It's warm enough." She handed it to him and widened her eyes in disgust as he bit through the saran wrap and slurped. "Use a spoon. You'll get it all over the rug, and I just had it cleaned. Between that rug and your T-shirts, the dry cleaner thinks we're either accident-prone or axe murderers. And take it easy on the snack packs tonight, Mr. Midnight Feeder. There are only 2 left. I'd better bring some more blood bags from the hospital tonight and fix up enough for the rest of the week." "Could you get O positive this time? That's my favorite." She nodded, and he smiled, brushing past her to the kitchen. He was spooning a big, sweet glob of half-frozen blood into his mouth when the doorbell rang. With a hurried swallow, he dropped the empty container into the biohazard box beneath the sink and popped the plastic fangs over his shrinking canines. With careful steps, he snuck over to the wall just to the right of the archway and peeked over at the front door, where his aunt was greeting Henry with a hug. Vlad jumped out from behind the separating wall and held his cheap cape out with both arms. "I want to suck your blood!" Henry doubled over, roaring with laughter. When he straightened, he slapped Vlad on the shoulder. "That's a sweet costume. Check me out. You'll just die." Henry placed his fists on his hips in a pseudo-Superman pose, and when he turned his head, Vlad's jaw dropped at the sight of 2 small holes on Henry's neck. "No way!" He stepped closer to inspect Henry's bite marks. They were flawless. Vlad had only seen one actual vampire bite on a human before, and Henry's handiwork was very close to the real thing. "What did you use?" "Silly putty and raspberry jam." "Seedless?" "Well, duh. Can't have seeds in my wound. Might get infected." Aunt Nellie regarded Vlad with a concerned glance over the top of her glasses. "Did you get enough to eat?" Vlad nodded, stuffed a tube of his sunscreen into his pocket, and opened the door. "Party's over at midnight." Nellie held out her hand. "You won't need that. I want you home by 11. 11?